Alright, lesson 12, learn to play the piano, lesson 12. Today, quite simply, we're going to be talking about playing sharps on this, reading them on the staff and playing them on the keyboard. So before, during the theory lesson, I explained what a sharp was and what whole steps and half steps were. So I highly suggest you go back and watch that video. If you need a brush up on that, in case you don't know what I'm talking about during this lesson. So that's basically what we're talking about, just playing sharps on the treble clef and bass clef, and that should probably cover the whole lesson. So anyway, hope you look forward to it, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, so like I talked about in the intro, we're going to be talking about reading sharps on the treble clef and bass clef today. Before I showed you what a sharp looked like by itself, it looks like kind of that number sign. Remember when we have a sharp note, we're going one half step up this way. So you might want to take a look back at the theory lesson 1, I believe it was called, where I basically just introduced what whole steps and half steps were and what sharps and flats were in case you need a reminder. So here we have a couple of examples with the treble clef and bass clef. Let's take a look here at our first example. Here we have the treble clef. So we're looking at the very first one, very first measure. And let's take a look here. We have a sharp in front of a note. So that means that note is sharped. Specifically, which note is this? Think about it for a second. Hopefully you're pretty good at this by now. That is the third space on the treble clef, so that's going to be C. And that's not middle C, because remember middle C will be on a ledger line below the staff. So this C is right here. And to play a sharp, we're going to go, like I said, one half step up towards the top of the piano, which is here. So that's C sharp. Breezing right along here, we have our next note. First space, that's F. And here is F sharp. Now let's try to figure out this next one. Pause the video if you need to, but I'll give you a second to think about it. So let's see what you had said. Hopefully you said the right answer anyway. I actually can't hear what you said, but here we go. So we're on the third one. So that's the second space treble clef, and that is going to be an A, and we want A sharp because we have a sharp there. Alright, moving right along, let's take a look at the next one. We're on the fourth one over from the left. So we have a fourth space. It's going to be E, and we're going to have E sharp. So careful about this one. Remember I told you, I think in the theory lesson, that some of the notes, specifically E and B, when you have an E sharp, that is actually the same note as an F. And those notes are called harmonic equivalents, or enharmonic equivalents. Sorry about that. Or you can just call them equivalents. That's fine. Let's take a look at the next one, fifth one over, I believe. Fourth space, that's D. And we're looking for D sharp. Let's take a look at this next one. Here, this one you should recognize. That is a, think about it, C, middle C, right here. So we want C sharp. Alright, let's take a look at the next one. We are 3 from the end. Third line, rather, on the treble clef. And we have a sharp in front of it. So here's our third line, that's B. And remember that B sharp is also going to be C, since there's no black key between B and C. Okay, last one. Or not last one. Next to last one on the treble clef. So we have this thing up here. It's a note all by itself up above the staff. So when you do that, you want to find the closest note you do know. I'm willing to bet that that is the top line of the treble clef, which is F. And so the very next note is going to be G, right here. And this is a G sharp, right there. So last one, I'll give you a second to think about it. Remember that's the top line of the treble clef. Hopefully you know the note by now. And that is not an A, but a F sharp. So F sharp, right there. Ignore that bass clef sign at the end of the line there. That's just a little goof up by me. So let's take a look at the bass clef, playing and reading sharps there. So we have our first note. We're going to breeze through these pretty quick. So remember, second space, bass clef, that's going to be C, but not middle C, because middle C is on a ledger line way up above the staff. This is going to be down here. So there's our C, and we want C sharp. Alright, we're going to move on to the next one, the second one on the bass clef staff, and we want, think about it for a second. That's right, F sharp. At least hopefully you said F sharp. Moving right along, so we're on the third one, bass clef. Oh, I had made a mistake there. That is actually the same as the first one. So what note was that again? That note is, well, we know second space there. That is a C, and we want C sharp. What about the next one? Think about it for a second, and don't say middle C, because that note's only middle C on the treble clef. So we have this note here. That's let's try to find out what that note is. So find the closest note you do know, and count down from there. So the closest note you do know is probably that G at the bottom line. Right below that's F, and this note's actually one before that. So we want, hopefully my camera angle captures this, but this is an E, and E sharp. Remember, E sharp's the same as F, like so. Next one, this is pretty close to the note we just talked about. This is an F sharp. So right there. What about the next one? We have bottom line. Hopefully you know the bottom line, and you know that that's G, and this is G sharp right here. Now let's figure out what this last one is. I'll give you a second to think about it. And that's the top space, bass clef. And that's also G sharp, but is that G sharp down here? Nope. Remember, if it's higher up on the staff, it's going to be higher up on the keyboard. So that G sharp's right here. So there you have it. That's playing some of the sharps on the treble clef and bass clef. Next time we'll talk about playing flats on the treble clef and bass clef, just to show you what they look like. Pretty soon we'll be doing examples with these sharps and flats, so we're just kind of getting you ready for that. So anyway, there you have it, and I'll see you in a second for, I guess, the outro. Okay, so that wraps up Lesson 12. All we talked about was reading notes with sharps on them on the treble clef and bass clef. Next time, we are going with Lesson 13. We're going to be talking about how to play major chords, reading them on the staff for the treble clef and bass clef. We're going to talk about some basic major chords, just to give you a little more practice playing them. And then after that, we'll probably do, I would guess that we'll probably do reading bass clef, or not bass clef, flat notes on the treble clef and bass clef. Anyway, I hope you had fun, hope you learned something, and I'll see you at the next lesson. Thank you.